Can you hear me? I don't know if anybody can hear me or see me. Let's see what is showing online, going live. Oh, I do see one that shows live, but that's not what I actually want because that's not the one. Forgive me. As you may have seen in my last video, it said going live, but not live. It was actually later. So on this one, I'm actually going to start the whole process with you live on screen. Can you hear me? Let's see if this is showing as live. Live? Is this one on there? I don't know if you can see me. Can you hear me? Anybody there? I don't think so. Not quite what I wanted it to be. Shoot. Well, I now have a whole lot more sympathy for other people who've gone live and not been able to get it to work. Because that's brutal. That's really brutal. Hey, wait a minute. Is it showing? Is anybody out there? Can you hear me? No, it's not wanting to do what I want it to do. Well, there's a whole lot of waiting here. I really do sincerely apologize. It's tough to test live by yourself because you're the one who can do it. No. Edit. Delete. Can I delete that one? No. More actions. Delete that mess. There it is. I found it. All right, so I'm going to delete that one. Deleted that forever. It's gone. This one, let's see what it's going to let me do. If it'll let me watch it as it's happening. Let's see, YouTube video link. Am I on there? Oh, I am live. I have one guest. It's myself. That's awesome. Well, welcome, Chris. It's so good to see you. Welcome, Chris. Yep. I think that's not too loud. Is it too loud? Yep. I think that's not too loud. Is it too loud? Yep. I think that's not too loud. Is it too loud? I don't know which ones. Hey, I got two people on now. Hey, sister. How art thou? This is really kind of fun. I just figured out how to get the stream to work and view it. So I viewed it on my camera to make sure that it was working. And as it came up, I saw you came on. So hello, welcome. Good to see you. We have 4 people on right now. I can't see who everybody else is, but thank you so much for joining me. I wonder if it'll show me on here. No, it didn't show me over here either. Okay, well, it is so good to have you. What I was starting off with was just going to do the lighting process that I'd normally do before my video, but show you all how it works in case you're interested. This in particular is called a torpedo. Notice the shape is a little bit different. And the cutter that I have has 2 options really, but the 2 that are there are a V-cut and then just a normal guillotine cut. This is for a larger gauge. Well, if you have a torpedo and you typically like to do the V-cut, it's a little hard, but I found out by watching a video on Cigars Daily, go ahead and give you a plug there, Tim, on how to actually cut the torpedo in a V-cut. And the way you do it is to simply angle it and just do a normal V-cut. And it comes out like this. Looks a little wonky, but it allows you to have that V-cut, which is a deeper cut into the cigar, and then you can go for the lighting in. Hello again. Welcome. I know we lost some people. Good to have some more people back. I am just going through the normal lighting process here that I typically will do before I start my videos, but hopefully this is enjoyable for you. I don't know if you can hear that sound. Can you hear the sound of the lighter, the flames? Sounds like a jet torch. Because that's what it is. It is jet fuel, essentially. And in case you're wondering, yes, I have accidentally burned myself while using this before. It does not feel good. This is very, very hot. So, and I'm out of fuel. That's perfect. Just enough to get it done. There we go. Well, it is really, really good to have you. This is, like I said, my first live. I don't quite have it down pat yet. Still trying to figure it out. I am definitely going to have to go back and rewatch this and see how it is on the viewer side. I still see Melody has said hello, and that's all. So if anybody else has had any comments or said anything, I apologize for not responding, but that is the reason for it. Well, I don't always go for a really nice cigar when I do my videos, but tonight was a special occasion going live, so I went for the Aging Room Quattro. This is the 2019 Cigar of the Year. Got a 96 rating, I think. It's very, very tasty. And you definitely want to go for the Torpedo. The Torpedo is the one that got it. Don't just think that if you get an Aging Room that it is the Cigar of the Year. Go for the 2019 Torpedo. Well, so I wanted to start off by sharing a little bit about my daughter. My two eldest daughters in particular wanted me to wave to them. So hello, ladies, and I love you. They asked me to tell them that I love them. They are already in bed, but they were really excited about this. They made sure that they gave me a big hug and said they love me multiple times on the way out. In preparation of this, I am out in the garage. As you can tell, the backdrop is nice and ghetto. But I did spruce things up for you. You cannot see, but what I was doing before I started this video was I was vacuuming. I am out in the garage and I have some carpet down on the ground, and like I was preparing for guests coming over, I was preparing for you, and in preparation, I did a few nice lines on the carpet in the garage. So even though you can't see it, know that you had somebody preparing the way for you. Well, one of the things that got me excited about talking about, in particular, my eldest daughter is playing soccer this year, and she has scored 3 goals in the past 2 games, and she has scored all of the goals that her team has scored this season. How epic is that? That's so epic. Last year she was a defender. She didn't really get that into it. This summer she went to a camp and got really, really into it, and it seems to be paying off. I don't know if it's because she has played well. I don't know if it's the genes. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's the genes. I wasn't very good at soccer, but I do think that it obviously is something that she is enjoying more, and I, as a proud dad, want to celebrate her. So great job. I'm so happy that you are doing well. I love you, babe. All right. Well, in doing YouTube, and I apologize for the struggle to get from one topic to the next. Like I said, this is my first time going live. And I'm just really excited. So there's a lot of jitters for that. Well, when I started my YouTube journey, it really kind of started because my dad passed away in 2020. But before he passed, he used to ask me, he would say, "What do you watch whenever you watch YouTube?" And I said, "Dad, I have children. I don't watch YouTube." And he said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I never have it on." And it was sad and funny at the same time. I actually didn't watch YouTube until he passed away. But when he passed, I started having it on all the time. And I would typically do those background videos. In 2020 in particular, I found Christmas music playing in another room to be one of my favorites. And I moved on from that to just typical ambiance. I would watch different cities as they had live cameras going and just watching people walking through. So whenever I was working from home, I would have it all in the background and it was just constantly going. Well, another thing that I happened to stumble upon was ASMR. And ASMR, as you know, is huge, especially on YouTube. And the very first thing that I stumbled upon was Haircut Harry. I don't know if you've seen Haircut Harry yet, but he really, it's really good, interesting phenomenon. He just goes and gets his haircut all over the world and he videos it. And it is really relaxing would be the best way to put it. I don't know if sometimes it's entertaining. Sometimes the people who are cutting his hair or doing a shave, wet shave or whatever are entertaining, but it's really relaxing. So I went from him and I got to a girl named Latte. I couldn't help but smile as I first stumbled upon her because the first thing that I saw that she did, at least that I saw, was a piercing cafe. And I didn't know what a piercing cafe was, and I was really interested to see what she was going to do. What she was going to do a piercing cafe. So she comes out and she's doing all this nice soft talking. Hello, thank you so much for coming. My name is Latte. I'm here to help you. And goes through the whole thing. And I had my kids come in and they'd sit and they'd watch it with me. Usually whenever I was trying to calm them down to go to bed or whatnot, I'd have ASMR on to relax them because they wanted to watch TV, but then they really didn't want to watch the ASMR stuff, but they were willing to sacrifice in order to watch TV. So they would watch Latte do her piercing cafe thing. They tried to figure out what she was talking about. And then she had a hibernation cafe, which was for these animals that were supposed to be hibernating, but they weren't. And she had all these tonics and everything that she would make for them. And so she's talking to the camera as if you're the animal who's supposed to be sleeping. And she goes through the whole list of, oh yeah, you should be hibernating by now, but you're not. So that was pretty funny. The next one that I ended up on was Lloydville. Lloydville is an interesting one. He's a guy, I don't know much about him, but I've seen several of his videos. And the ones that I really appreciate, he's got one where he does like a Subway sub shop, sub and sandwich shop. That's exactly what it is, because he makes sure to emphasize that in the video, that it's not just a sub, it's a sub and sandwich shop. And it's pretty funny. It's a long video. The sounds are really, really rough, but it makes me laugh. And then he's got another one where he is a door-to-door cookie and dessert salesman. And so he goes around and he gets these samples out. And he's talking about these cookies that you get like at Kroger or whatever. And he's going through about how elaborate they are. And then he does this little sample thing. And I wonder what that's like to sit there doing all of this to the camera. And I'm sure he's the only one there. So he's doing this and he's sampling it. That's tasty. Yeah, it's nice. And then he has the dialogue back and forth. So anyways, it's pretty funny. The other one that I have recently stumbled on is Matty Tingles. Matty Tingles is pretty funny. He's a guy who he's got some cologne shop scenarios that he'll do. He'll do a scenario where he is in a video game store. And most recently, he did one where he has a Blue Yeti microphone, and he's got a tub of slime that he got, and he gets it out. And normally, whenever you do ASMR on a microphone, you pour liquid on there, or you do sounds on and whatnot. But you have cellophane. What's it called? Saran wrap. You have saran wrap over the microphone. Well, he didn't have any saran wrap over the microphone. so he, excuse me, he gets out the the slime and he starts putting it on the actual microphone. And you see him just messing around, and then he suddenly goes, "Oh no, I think I was supposed to have saran wrap on this thing. Oh, I think I ruined the microphone." And he starts peeling it off. Well, my eldest daughter goes, I was showing her this before I started this tonight, and she goes, "Daddy, I think you should subscribe to him." And I asked my second daughter, my middle daughter, if I should get it. I said, "Do you like him?" She goes, "I like him, but he's crazy." And I said, I think this was him intentionally making it awkward and everything. I can't imagine that he would unknowingly record him putting this slime on a microphone, ruining it, and then still keeping it. I think it had to be a setup, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty good. The other one that I have recently found that makes me laugh is Fred's voice. Fred's voice is one, he kind of looks like Thor, and he capitalizes that on some of his ASMR stuff, but he also goes for the business banker look. He also goes for medieval. He's got long blonde hair, and he's, I think, British or something. He's not American, or his accent is not. He did a artsy fartsy barista, and it was pretty funny because the whole time he's just berating the order that comes in. He's like, "You are so ridiculous that you would do this type of order. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should get out." But he goes ahead and makes the whole drinks and everything, and it's pretty humorous how he does that. But the one that was really funny was he was a barber, a medieval barber, and he's using a sword to actually cut and shave the hair. So you've got this microphone that he has set up, and he has a wind guard over the microphone and the saran wrap underneath it, and he puts on the foam, the shaving cream and everything, and he starts shaving it, but he's shaving it with like a knife, like a scimitar. He's got a medieval knife, he's got an axe, and he's just going through like it's no big deal. So he's pretty funny, he's entertaining. But it's funny because I keep on ASMR. A lot of times I'll do it in the background if I'm needing to work on anything, if it's not a lot of talking, but it's just the sounds. I'll do it because it actually makes me feel like I've got somebody else in the room. And I don't know if you do that, if you have on just background, not just noises in our ambiance, but actual somebody doing something on YouTube, like you have somebody in the room. My grandmother used to have on the TV all the time. She'd keep the news on, and she said, "I live alone. It makes me feel like I have somebody with me." And that's what I find with ASMR and YouTube and all of that, is it makes me feel like I've got somebody else with me. So hopefully you can do that as well. You can feel not alone in a time when we are so isolated. Maybe this is one way that you can help feel like you're connected to somebody else. Another thing that I used to do, my dad, when I was younger, he used to travel all the time, and he would pack, and while he was packing, he would have on the Weather Channel. And the Weather Channel in particular, the 8 on 8s, was something that he would always have on. And as a kid, I would come in and I would lay on the bed while he's packing and getting everything ready, and that music would put me to sleep. Well, I found some of the 8 on 8s on YouTube in 2020, and after I got past my nostalgic moment and tears because my dad had passed and I was not able to see him anymore, but I could remember those moments, I loved it. So if that was something that you grew up with, or if you're familiar with it, you really should try and search some 8 on 8s Weather Channel. It really is an exciting trip down memory lane. My sister was actually telling me she was watching some old Price is Right videos. I can't remember which she said she was watching it on, but I've come across some of those on YouTube as well. And it's so fun to be able to just go back down memory lane. And I don't know if you are instantly transported mentally to those locations of what it was like whenever you used to watch those. So for us, we were little kids sitting in front of the TV on the nasty shag carpet watching Price is Right, Bob Barker, and what are they going to be doing next? Oh, yeah, it's time for Plinko, or the golf, the putt-putt game, or, whatever it is. So, well, I had one additional story I did want to share. This was quite humorous, at least to me. It may or may not be to you. But I was in a cigar lounge the other day with a buddy of mine that I haven't seen in a while, and we're sitting there, and I take him into the humidor, And we go through, and I start recommending different cigars to him and telling him which one has which flavor notes or strength. Or I'm not super great on the flavor notes necessarily, but I can make good recommendations. At least I feel like good recommendations. All the people that I've recommended to have said I make good recommendations based on what type of strength you like, what type of flavor you like, and how it hits and everything. Well, the owner comes in while I'm going through this, and he starts to ask, "Do you need any help?" And then he sees me explaining each of the cigars to my buddy, and he kind of just turns around and walks out. And that normally happens whenever I go into a place with somebody who's not familiar with the lounge. I'll walk them through the cigar lounge or the humidor, and I'll show them the selection, talk about what I've had, what I've not had, but what I've heard about, and make my recommendations and so forth. Well, this guy, he went ahead and got the cigar. My buddy got the cigars, and I went out and I got mine, and I started smoking them. And the first one that I had, it started burning. It's what's called like a canoe, right? So instead of it burning evenly down the cigar, all the way around, it just kind of goes on half of it, and it just starts making its way down, like halfway burns, but then this half wouldn't burn. And it's terrible. It just makes it awkward. Your ash starts getting dangerous, hard to manage, all that kind of stuff. It's not good. Well, I've had it happen enough times that I can usually fix it before it gets to the second third, or the final third of the cigar, depending on where it happens. Well, it happened not only on my first cigar, but then my second cigar did the exact same thing, but and it was a completely different cigar, different brand, everything. And I was showing my buddy, I was like, "This is ridiculous." Like the selection on the shelves was already really, really low. He had very, very bare shelves. The selection that he did have, it looked like it had been there for a while, which is not necessarily bad, but I didn't know if he maintained a good humidity in there and all that kind of stuff. So when I had trouble with the second cigar, I was like, "Man, I don't think this is a very good lounge." Or something's wrong with this humidor or something. This shouldn't be happening 2 cigars in a row. And he's like, "You should go talk to him. Go see if he'll give you a different cigar." And so I went up and I told him, and I said, "Hey, just want to let you know, this happened. This is the second cigar this happened to." And he goes, "Well, maybe you didn't light it evenly." And I smiled and laughed and I said, "No, that's not the problem." I wanted to say, I came back to my buddy and I told him what happened. So the owner said, to his credit, he goes, "Well, if you want, you can go get another cigar and I'll comp it." And so I went into the humidor and I'm checking what I've got. I didn't want to go get a totally different one. I figured I'd try the exact same cigar that I was smoking. And they all felt like they had knots in them. They were all really, really hard. And I was just like, I'm not even going to do this. So I feel bad for this guy that he's got such a, small selection already. And then the ones that he does have are not very good. And so I went back and I sat down and he goes, "Did you get another one?" I was like, "No, I'll just make it work." And I did. I made it work. But I told my buddy, I said, "Did you hear what he said?" He goes, "Yeah, I heard him say, maybe you didn't get it lit right." And I told him, I said, "I should maybe introduce myself as, 'Hi, I'm Cigar Chris. I know how to light a cigar evenly. What's your next suggestion, buddy?'" So, anyways, it was a good time. The whole point of the lounge is not necessarily just the cigar, but it's about the conversations that are had. And it was a great time. Josiah had a great time with you. Looking forward to meeting with you again on Wednesday. This time we're going to be going to his house. But thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you coming out to my garage with me. I hope that the entertainment, hope the smoke was nice, hope the entertainment was nice, and I look forward to seeing you again. I will improve on each one of these, but let me know what you think. If you want to hear me talk about something different, if there was something in particular you wish that I would have talked about tonight. I have a lot of people ask about the chickens, so next time maybe I could talk more about the chickens, but let me know in the comments. I look forward to seeing you again. Sorry that was so loud, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me.